March 6, 1944. 25,000 feet above Berlin. Luftwaffe General Adolf Göhlen stood on the airfield and looked up. The sky was dark with bombers. American B-17s. Hundreds of them. He'd seen this before. The bombers always came. But bombers without fighters were just targets. His pilots would tear them apart like they always did. Then he heard it. A sound that made his blood run cold. The deep roar of engines. Different engines. He looked up again. His hands dropped to his sides. Silver fighters. Everywhere. Stretched across the entire sky like a metal river. American P-51 Mustangs. Over Berlin. 800 of them. Göhlen had commanded fighters since 1940. He'd flown against the British. Against the Russians. He'd shot down 94 enemy planes himself. He knew what German victory looked like. The Luftwaffe was supposed to be the best air force in the world. Their planes were fast. Their pilots were trained. Berlin was supposed to be untouchable. 700 miles from England. Too far for escort fighters. The bombers came alone. Easy kills. That's how it worked. Until today. Those silver Mustangs shouldn't exist. They couldn't have the range. But there they were. His throat went dry. Quick thing before we continue. Hit subscribe if you want more incredible WW2 stories like this. We're building something special here and you'll want to be part of it. What Göhlen saw that day was the death of the Luftwaffe. In one mission, 800 P-51s proved Germany couldn't defend its own capital. By war's end, these fighters would destroy over 5,000 German planes. This is the story of how one American fighter changed everything and how a German general watched his air force die in real time. Germany owned the skies in 1940. Their Messerschmitt fighters were the fastest in Europe. Their pilots had combat experience from Spain. When they hit France, French planes fell like rain. When they hit Britain, the RAF barely survived. German confidence wasn't arrogance. It was earned. They'd proven it over Poland, over France, over Russia. The Luftwaffe had destroyed over 15,000 Allied planes by 1943. Their tactics worked. Their planes worked. They thought nothing could touch them over their own cities. American bombers tried. They came in waves. Thousands of them. But without fighter escorts, German pilots ate them alive. In October 1943, the Americans lost 60 B-17s in one day over Schweinfurt. 60 bombers. 600 men. The Americans had to stop deep raids because the losses were too high. Germany seemed safe. Then North American aviation built something special. The P-51 Mustang looked simple. Single engine. Single seat. But it had a British Rolls-Royce engine that sipped fuel like a miser. It carried drop tanks that gave it crazy range. Over 1,500 miles round trip. That meant it could fly to Berlin and back. No fighter in the world could do that. Not German. Not British. Not Japanese. Just the Mustang. And it was fast. 440 miles per hour at altitude. Faster than most German fighters. It carried 650 caliber machine guns. 1,800 rounds total. And America was building them by the thousands. 4,000 Mustangs rolled off assembly lines in 1944 alone. The Germans had no idea what was coming. The first big test came on March 6. 800 Mustangs took off from England that morning. Their mission was simple. Escort the bombers all the way to Berlin. Stay with them. Protect them. Then come home. German pilots couldn't believe their eyes when they saw them. American fighters over Berlin? Impossible. They scrambled anyway. Confident. Aggressive. They'd killed bombers for 4 years straight. But these Mustangs weren't bombers. The first German fighters that climbed to intercept got shredded. Mustangs were waiting above them. Diving down. The P-51s were faster in the dive. More agile in the turn. Better armed. One German pilot radioed that it felt like fighting ghosts. The Mustangs were everywhere at once. German ace Walter Nauertny engaged a Mustang over Brandenburg. He was one of the best. 258 kills. He barely escaped. His wingman didn't. Shot down in seconds. The Mustang pilot didn't even chase. Just went back to protecting bombers. The numbers that day told the whole story. 800 Mustangs flew to Berlin. 792 made it home. The bombers they protected hit their targets. Only 3 bombers lost. 3. On previous unescorted missions, the Americans lost 50 or 60 bombers per raid. The Luftwaffe lost 69 fighters that day. 69. Germany couldn't replace those pilots. They couldn't replace those planes fast enough. And the Mustangs could come back tomorrow. And the next day. And the day after that. One German pilot wrote in his diary that night. His name was Heinz Nock. He'd been flying since 1940. Shot down 33 Allied planes. He wrote that March 6th felt like the end. He said watching those Mustangs circle Berlin was like watching wolves surround sheep. He knew Germany couldn't win anymore. Not against this. Not against 800 fighters that could reach anywhere in Germany. Every German pilot knew it too. The war wasn't over yet. But the sky belonged to America now. Production numbers crushed any hope Germany had left. In 1944, America built over 16,000 fighters. Germany built 25,000 total planes that year, but most were bombers or ground attack planes. And American planes were better. A Mustang cost $50,000 and took 6 months to build. Germany's best fighter, the Me-262 jet, cost twice that and took a year. America had 50 times the industrial capacity. Germany was bleeding pilots they couldn't replace. America was training thousands of new pilots every month. The math was brutal. Germany couldn't shoot down Mustangs fast enough to matter. Gauland watched it all fall apart from his headquarters. Every report was worse than the last. Berlin hit again. Hamburg burning. Munich defenseless. He kept sending up pilots. Young kids mostly. Barely trained. They died in minutes against experienced American pilots in superior planes. By July 1944, the Luftwaffe was flying less than 200 fighters per day over Germany. There were over 2,000 American fighters in the sky daily. The Americans owned German airspace. They shot up trains. They destroyed factories. They killed anything that moved. Germany couldn't even defend its own cities anymore. Gauland survived the war. He wrote about March 6th later. He said that was the day he knew Germany lost. Not because of one battle, but because those Mustangs proved American power was unstoppable. They had the range. They had the speed. They had the numbers. And they'd keep coming. Every single day. Until Germany was ash. He was right. The Luftwaffe never recovered. By May 1945, there were barely any German fighters left. The ones that existed had no fuel. No pilots. No hope. Here's the number that says everything. In 1944, America built 96,000 planes total. Germany built 39,000. Japan built 28,000. Combined, the Axis built 67,000 planes. America alone built 30,000 more planes than both enemies combined. That's the power that buried Germany. That's what Gauland saw in the sky over Berlin. 800 silver fighters were just the beginning. Just a preview of the storm that would destroy everything Germany built. Thanks for watching. Next time we're covering the story of the B-29 that changed warfare forever. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. These stories just keep getting crazier. I'll see you in the next one.